Gardeners are people of instant gratification, and we want results yesterday, and we often try and beat nature. And there are lots of tools and resources around us that we need to use. And today I'm going to share with you some of those. The first one where we often fall flat, guys, is in seed sowing. It's way easier and probably a whole lot more fulfilling if we actually sow them in trays, get them under control, grow them into little plants, and then from there plant them out into the garden. Now there is a list of many veggies and flowers which when young are susceptible to frost, which is why we need to either put them into the 3-tier grow house or into the unheated propagator. Right, so let's look at what the options are. What can we sow in and what is available around us? Well, folks, I want to start off with the containers. Here are the options for sowing. Number one is the little fiber pots. 2 different sizes available, nice and easy and reusable. 2 are the coir 6-packs, once again, made out of coir, also recyclable and reusable. The 12-cell fiber propagation grow kit with a lid which helps to regulate the temperatures. A deep seedling tray with no cavities, great for larger quantities and certainly for microgreens. And the smaller non-cavity plastic sowing tray. Remember, the methodology that I'm using can get used in any one of the containers that I've shown you. This is simply just the few steps that you need to follow for success. First thing you need is this guy. This is a block of palm peat. It is compressed. You've seen us use it before. It works like a charm. And number one, and most importantly, is that you don't have to use the whole thing all at once. We place this block into a container, add 3 liters of water, and it simply just expands up. Sowing is really simple, guys. You take some of your palm peat, pop it into your container. Don't squish it because you want these little air pockets. You could also use seedling mix, which is available at your local builders. The second thing that seed germination needs is light. And that is all too important, which is why you find that the guys that we're going to put them into, which is the 3-tier grow house, allows a good amount of light through, as well as the unheated propagator. And the third, which is very, very important, is temperature and water. Right, once we've done that, and for demonstration purposes, we are going to do exactly the same on these little fiber pots. Right, folks, so what I want to show you is 3 different types of seed application. And when I say seed application, it's the way we would sow it. Because that all depends on the type of crop that we're wanting to grow. So the trick is to work out probably how many you're going to need. And for that, personally, I would recommend 6 plants is more than enough in anyone's garden. So for tomatoes, we use one of these. Remember, for each individual little cell, they're 3, 6, 9, 12 here. I will germinate these, but I will choose the 6 strongest to plant into the garden. So when we're doing tomatoes, literally we take 1, 2 little seeds and we pop them in. So what do you do with all the rest? You keep them. The way that we store them is very important. Take your packet of seed, make sure you seal it up, and preferably pop it into the fridge, in the veggie compartment, or into a Tupperware, or in just that side door. Next up, we're going to take a little bit of our palm peat, and all we're going to do is just gently cover these. Now, because your palm peat is so lightweight, the seed is able to push through quite successfully. Last thing is, which is most important for all seed sowing, is this final step. It's important to push the seed down and get it in contact with your growing medium. Write the label so you know what you've sown and the date that you did it. Final step is to give them a good watering with a very fine nozzle. And what we do once we've sown seed is we add both of these products into the water, which we will then, every time we are watering the seed, we will use this within the water until germination and the first centimeter of growth has taken place. This is Root Pro and this is Start Grow. Water your growing medium until the water starts emerging from the bottom of the tray. Once we've done that, last step, pop the little lid on, and this is where we then take it to the next level. For larger seed like pumpkins, any of the squash family, I would recommend putting any larger seed into these little fiber pots, 1 or 2, and once again the same principle where you would remove the strongest one once it's germinated and sacrifice the weaker seedling. Once it's in, cover it up, and a good watering. And finally, when you are sowing seed where there is a lot in the packet, take your packet of seed and empty at least half or the entire packet, depending on how much space you have available. And here again, all I want you to do, which is most important, is to read the back of the packet of the seed. What we want to do here, next step, is take a little bit of our palm peat, pop it into the container, and we just mix the seed. Once we've mixed it through thoroughly, you can see the seed is now evenly dispersed amongst the palm peat. And all I do now is simply start from one end and apply our mixture from one side, moving across. And in this way, I know that I'm going to get a good even distribution of these seeds. Once we've done this, we can do the following, is take a little bit of our palm peat and we add a thin layer on top of it. If you've got very fine seed, you don't actually have to add another layer on. Once that's done, firm it down, exactly the same process as before. Pop the name on, don't forget that, and of course, a good watering. Now that seeds have sown, we've got various options. We need to decide where we're going to leave them in order to germinate. Number one, for smaller gardens, we use the little unheated propagator. You can pop in 2 trays, one there and one next to it, or one can simply go this way. The unheated propagator works like a charm because it controls temperature, and you will find that you only need to water once they have actually started popping through the surface, because it works like a greenhouse effect. To find out more about the unheated propagator, check the link in the description below where I share more info on this cool gadget. But if you're beyond the beginner gardener and you're into a few more things and you've taken cuttings and you've got some special babies, then I think you need the 3-tier grow house. The 3-tier grow house is 1250 in height, 690 in length, and 490 in width. It has a maximum loading capacity of 10 kg per shelf. The 3-tier grow house is really easy to assemble with no tools required. It's got a zipped roll-up door and it's got a polyethylene cover with internal ties to keep the cover in place, as well as powder-coated steel tubes. Grow plants from seed and keep them flourishing. Folks, what's really important is that when there are extreme temperatures, and I'm talking about at night, I want you to close the flap. Okay, close it up so that you're trapping all the heat inside. Use the zips. Generally, as a rule of thumb, we open it during the day because the heat that builds up in here gets pretty intense. But what's most important is that this little guy enables you to extend the growing season. It helps you to grow plants from seed and keep them flowering. Most importantly, it helps you beat the weather and germinate plants far quicker and out of season. It also helps to protect them against bugs and hohos because they're all nice and closed up in the little grow house. And remember, if you've only got a patio or a balcony, this too can work to germinate, grow, and enjoy delicious greens. So guys, that's the 101 on seed sowing like a pro. And it's using the resources that we have, like the 3-tier grow house and of course the unheated propagator. Remember, everything I've spoken about is available either in store or online. Remember to visit the blog where there are great videos, DIYs, and other inspiring gardening hacks, tips and tricks to turn you into a green-fingered guru. Get to Builders and get it done.